Hi, I thought I'd do a vid. I'm going to have a glass of wine, and I thought I would do a vid for you. There you go, just for you. Not, I've just done a little bit of work, like I changed one thing, which is good. So that's that day done. Really, I'll do more later, but um, yeah, that's just interesting, Um, like I just, I sort of believe in. I probably should even look for more things to guide me through my life. But the idea is, I'm very, very simple. My couple of, it's what I can remember from when I was 6 or something. That's what runs my life. Yeah, do unto others as you would have them do unto yourself. See, I sat there and thought about that for years, actually, on and off. Not all the time. I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it and thought, and it's just sort of become a part of my life. So, when people do things, I ask myself the deliberate question, would I do that to somebody else? I don't, and I don't judge them or anything else like that. I just ask myself, would I do it? Because that's important. Like, I can only really control me. That's the only person I can control, is myself. So I figure if I only do for others what I would do to myself, or do for myself, or what I would expect to be done to me, then I'm doing my bit, at least. That's, you sound, I'm sure there's something about judging, but if other people want to do whatever they want to do, well, then that's what they want to do. I can't change that. I can only change me. Yeah. So if, so I looked at that video and I asked myself whether I would, what that father was doing, whether I would want that done to me. And I'll be honest, putting it back on the shoe on the other foot, did he want what was done to him, revealing the whole family in public, ruined the family. Did he want that? Would he have done that to somebody else? The answer is probably no. Uh, but he's trying to say it's all right if I do the wrong thing to you, but you can't do it to me. That's what he was saying. And really, if the boy had actually brought up a simple scripture and said, all right, is that do you believe in this God and all that sort of thing? And he said, yeah, of course I do, of course I do. Okay, so you do unto others as you'd have do unto yourself. What? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so if someone treats you at work like shit, you don't mind. And he could have argued on that basis. Actually, it would solve most of the arguments. Just actually, not the highfalutin, complicated stuff that if you read between the none of that. Just the simple stuff. Yeah, and I think it's a good way. And it's like I actually think of it like I like to be treated well, and politely and kindly and everything else. Um, I don't like to be treated rudely, so I'm not rude to people. Uh, I don't want to be ignored, so I don't ignore people. Uh, I don't like being screamed at, so I don't scream at people. It's pretty simple. Um, I like people trying to understand me, so I try to understand others. Yeah, basically, the thing that everybody complains about is what I would like myself. I like to be understood. Um, I like to be treated well. I don't like to be put down at all. So I don't put others down. Um, I like little things in this life to pick me, give me a lift and pick me up. So I try to do the same thing for other people. And at no point am I saying any of this is that, oh, I don't like those people. I'm not judging them in any way. It's up to them. They got the same lessons I did, boom. You all did. If you don't treat others the way you want to be treated yourself, well then that's your problem. But you tend to treat people well, so I guess that's you're closer to it. You probably remembered it. Um, yeah, but that's and see the other one. What's another one I've got? Oh yeah, the old, Jesus coming out and say, hey, yeah, be the first one. I can never remember how. For cast throw the rock at the whore. Yeah, the first one who hasn't sinned. And see, when I went to Food Bank, and they were telling me how bad the Palestinians were for killing 3 people a year, and they tended to forget the 1 million people we killed in Iraq. Yeah, that's the one I cited, but they've forgotten. Yeah, you all forget the real basic, simple stuff because you've gone on to more advanced stuff. You've forgotten kindergarten, and really, kindergarten, six was when you were 6 or 7. That's when you got it all. That was when you got the important stuff. Everything else that's happened since is a load of shit. It's it's really very, very elaborate excuses why you can't do what you were told when you were 6. I hate to tell you. Yeah, and narcissism is a classic. Yeah, it's all right if we do this to other people. Don't you dare do it to me. Yeah, that's see, narcissism seems to be the exact opposite of what the teachings were, which leads me to think that the whole purpose of religion is against narcissism. Yeah, for the most part, I think that's what it is. I think that's I've thought about it most of my life, actually. Why it exists, what problem is it solving, really? As I looked at different things, um, and I thought, I might have been just fragmented into different areas and that sort of thing. Yeah, but I think it's to stop narcissism in the end, because narcissism can actually destroy the planet. That's about the only thing that can destroy the planet. And right now it's about to. There's a chance it could. That's when, you make up stories about somebody doing something to you and you make them out to be the enemy when they're not the enemy. You're actually the enemy, but you're pretending that they are. And that's narcissism. Yeah, that's what happened to me. So I ask myself, would I do that to somebody else? Would I pretend that something's your fault when it's not? It was my fault? No, if it's my fault, it's my fucking fault. That's how I think. And I'm proud of that, as much as I hate to, hate myself. But a lot of people don't like it. Why are you saying that, Bob? Well, it's just the truth. Sometimes I fuck things up. Sometimes I do the wrong thing. But I have to be honest about it. It's like, I reckon I drink too much. But I don't drink nearly as much as a lot of other people. That doesn't matter. I don't care what they do. Important thing is what I do, because I'm the one I've got to live with. Yeah, so that's how I think. And as for see, you and I think differently on so many things. Quite incredible, actually. But like as for the and it's only because I look at it in a different way all the time. That's why we think differently. You look at it at one angle, it looks a certain way. If you look at it at a different angle, it looks completely different. But that's and that's what I had to learn to do with accounting. Because if you can't look at it straight on one way, you get nothing. So I had to learn to look at things differently. Swap it around this way. And I do that with a web page. You look at it from this point, look at it this way. Yeah, so I just can't help it. So when you say it's wrong that that boy put the video up on the internet, if you look at it one way, yeah, you're betraying the family more or less, aren't you? You're getting it all out, which is where my problem started. Telling people out there what's going wrong in your family. And the thing is, once you start doing that, it only gets worse because more and more comes out. And more and more and more. It's just until the point where you might as well just forget anything. But yeah, no, I really think just get it out. I actually made a comment on that vid and just said, no, it's good. Get it out in the open. Show everybody how we all are in family life. We're not all like that, but yeah, get it out. Show and that's it. Don't have a nice, pretty picture of a house at the front. Yes, let's see inside what really goes down. And I could see this nice house, and he was obviously, well paid and that sort of thing. He's worked hard, saved hard, and they've got a nice house, nice Italian family. Yeah, I looked at it and thought, fuck, who wants that? Really, who wants it? Yeah. But that was what it was like in my family. It was a fucking shit fight. And I used to actually go out. I ran away, just like a kid. They were fucking at me so much. I used to, fuckers, I'd take my phone and go, and they'd be ringing me up as I'm walking down the road. And I'm just thinking, oh, fuck, get me out of there. And I just go and walk around the streets in the middle of the night. I couldn't stop them. I just couldn't stop them. I didn't know what to do. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I twist everything around and make people think too much or something. I don't know. Or, like I dispel all your beliefs. Sorry, but that's just how I see it. There are other ways to look at it. Yeah, okay, you think you might be right. Yeah, well, here, have a look at it this way. How about this way? How are you going? Because I really can't stand in the right. It's very narcissistic. Being, I'm right. I really can't stand it. I'm in the right. They yell often hear them. And see, I learned a long time ago. I used to have this big, powerful motorbike, 1,000 cc's. Fuck, I could go. Yeah, I was young, and I looked good on it and everything else like that, but I wasn't a good rider or anything else like that. But I learnt, very quick, smart, that, you can be in the right, as much as you like to think you can be in the right, but on a motorbike, if somebody makes a mistake and they clobber you, even if you're in the right, you're dead. There's no even an illusion that you can survive the accident. If you get hit, you're hurt badly. So that was when I learnt that, okay, so what if I'm in the right? What's it worth? And then I had a small car ever since. And the way I learnt to think, and then people would make mistakes and you could see the look on their face. They've just read, oh shit, I didn't see you, sorry. It didn't bother me, so I just wave, yeah, no problems. It's because I assume people are more likely to make a mistake than not. Now, most people get out there and drive like, I'm not going to know how to drive properly, this is the right way to drive. Look how aggressive it is. And I'm putting along going, no problems. I know you've had a bad day, you're thinking about something else, you didn't see me yet, but it's okay, I just take a back off just in case you didn't see me. Yep, you've got me, right, I'll go. And if I don't, I'll just hit the brakes. No, oh, sorry. And you can almost see the stress. It's okay. And that's how I'd like to, if I make a mistake, sometimes someone says, no, it's okay, no problems. Thanks, mate. Jeez, I'm thinking about something else. No worries. No, I was on the lookout for you. I saw you there. I always been, and I'd say, that's how I would like to be treated. And then, which essentially is forgiving people. Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? I'm the non-God person. I'm probably into forgiveness. Set yourself up so you can forgive people. People seem to think, no fucking forgiveness in this. How aggressive and nasty and horrible it is. And yet you'll tell me, why don't you get closer to God, Bob? As far as I can see it, the God people are the worst. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're the most. I lived with all of Sue's family. Oh, very religious. Oh, you should have seen it. He said this one, and they'd zoom around the place. I'd look at it and go, anybody can make a mistake, and you're travelling around little tiny narrow streets at pretty close to 100 kilometres an hour. What do you think people are? Perfect? So this is the thing. Narcs think they are perfect. Everybody should be at their level. Perfection. Well, the truth is they're not. Reality is people are making mistakes all the time. We all do. But I don't know. I can't get through to people like this. It's the influence of narcissism. So because the churches don't realise what they should be fighting against, they're not fighting against it. It's grown like an epidemic. And if I can anything that you say, I'll give you about the Bible. I can tell you why it exists, and it's in terms of narcissism. Yeah, I reckon I'd go close to being able to do that. Yeah, anybody, even Jesus himself and God, don't think you're God. That's what they're there for. They're above you, and do they judge you? Really? Well, they probably do in this case, but they're probably the judges, not you. That's what I think it's saying. It's they judge you. They're your judge, not you can't decide who's right and who's wrong, or who are good people and who are bad people. It's their judgment, God's judgment, not your judgment, God's judgment. See? Yeah, I suppose that's how I'd go. But I'm sorry. I see it as a man-made creation to solve a problem. It's an invention. That's the way I see it. It's a good one. It's around for a reason, and that's I've thought about it for years. I thought, how the fuck? And the only way I could think, because people would argue about it, I'd say it's anti-narcissism. And I bet you, if I put it to somebody who doesn't believe, I'll say, yeah, whether you believe in God or not, it's not. But the whole teaching is about anti-narcissism. Everything in it is about. I bet they'd listen to me. I could find the most sceptical prick going, and I bet he'd listen to me. And I'd give him a few simple examples, and he'd say, yeah, well, why doesn't everybody, do it? And I'd say, well, the idea, it doesn't work like that. The only way you can do it is do it yourself. Just try and follow it. You can only take care of yourself. You can't drive somebody else's car. You've got to drive your own car. And that's the best you can do, is just drive your own car. And, hopefully if everybody else drives their own car properly too, it might be a better world. Right now everybody's trying to drive one another's car. And that's true. You don't drive, so you don't understand the analogy. But that's, people are always trying to drive somebody else's car. I always say, just drive your own. Take care of yourself. Make sure you do it as well as you can. And then hopefully the idea will catch on. A few other people will start doing it. And, maybe the world will change. That's the only thing that's going to change it. You can have all the religion in the world. If they don't understand what they're doing, which I don't think they do, then, but so that's the, I should do some work, shouldn't I? God blimey, I don't feel like it. I'm enjoying it though, it's easy, and it unfolds, and anyway, you don't want to hear about that. But anyway, that's my views on religion. They're actually quite strong views. But at a level that it's different, and it's different. And it's only because I fundamentally disagree with, that's just my view. And I only have that view because that's the only view I can imagine arguing with anybody. And I would say, look, a lot of people disagree, but I think it's to prevent the rise of narcissism, which is very dangerous to all humanity. And and then I'd give examples, and I'd show everyone. It'd take me a while to do, but I would relate to everything is a check against narcissism, to stop narcissism. I don't know, it could be wrong, but nobody's ever given me a good reason. One that, like even you just say, no, well, you just should do it, end of story. It's like people saying, oh, you should use a double entry accounting system. Why? Oh, I don't know, just to use it. That's what people say. And I wanted to, and I can fully understand why a person would use it. I reckon it's a good system. Very old one, a very clever one, but it's a good system, very useful. I wouldn't want to do it, but I like the system. I like the futures market for the same reason. I didn't actually like being in it, but I like the system. It's good, clever, well thought out, and the way the whole thing works, just nice. It's got loads. It's like a good book. Loads of emotion in it and all that sort of thing, greed and despair, and it really gets you in there. But so that's the way I see it. So when you say, oh, don't you trust God? Well, I do, but I just don't trust everybody else, because I don't think you really. It just, nothing adds up, because you say, oh, just as we go into wars and we do this and do that, and the wars are only there because narcissism's been allowed to flourish. Religion's only been downtrodden, so narcissism can grow. Yeah, because we are the most powerful race in the world. We are the most glorious. We are the leaders of the world. Well, you're not. God is, um, and everything under God. You are not God because you're this all-powerful genie. Okay, and that's narcissism. That's what it's. So we've kicked out all the religious things, mainly because we don't understand them. But I'd say that's what it's there for. Originally, somebody wrote all this down and did it all for a reason. They say, "Oh, God spoke to me," that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was all done for a reason. So it was a double entry accounting system. And nobody can give me a reason for the creation of religion. And I don't think it matters which religion it is. I reckon go across the board you would find it'd be all anti-narcissism. I don't know, I haven't looked at it, but I'd reckon that's what I think. Any system, to me, I found this with accounting, and I'm really convinced about that. With accounting, everything about it was for checking purposes. It wasn't a way to record something. It was for checking purposes. That's what I found. The basic system. Yeah, everything was there with checking in mind. Because at first, as I said, it's a really complicated looking system, but it's there for checking. The same as you were doing as a quality assurance. Yours is easy to identify with. It's definitely checking. There's no doubt about that. It's not so easy to see with accounting, but it's the same thing. And it's the same thing with religion, I reckon. It's all about checking. It's to make sure that narcissism isn't rising. But I don't think they understand that. I think that everybody thinks it's something different. But what's happening is narcissism has been there because there's no way to this. Okay, I'll put it this way: Jesus threw the money changers out of the temple. Okay, the Jews. He threw them out of the temple. And why? Well, they're basically narcissistic. Okay, so his enemy, and he was fighting against the Jews all the way back then. It was just, they were just narcissistic. And he said, no, you have to do this, do that, do something else. And so now, because they don't like him, Jesus is gone. And so the narcissism has flourished. And look at the damage it's about to do. And that's just what's happened. And it's not all Jews. It's only a small elite group who have these highfalutin ideas, and they are the narcissists. They're like the Jackies of the world, and Jackie is a narcissist. Yeah, and she has no. She would barely remember me because she would have buried the thought. She's just become this thing, narcissist, a shell of a person. Looks perfect, but hollow inside. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to argue with it, but that's the only thing that and what I was going to tell you about with the accounting is everything where you look was about checking, and that's how I got to in the end. Thought, okay, what's this got to do with checking? Oh, I see. It'll take me seconds to figure out. I see. Yeah, it's a way of checking this. Yep. Okay, got that. But at first it was like, what the fuck is this? And then once I got the central idea of it, the theme that ran all the way through, I thought, it's easy. Just check this, check that, check something else, check. It's all checking. Yeah. So, but they struggle to sell religion. And they struggle to sell accounting for that matter, because they know how to do it. People have learned how to do it, and they've done it by rehearsing. The same as priests, they've rehearsed, but they don't actually understand the underlying thing of what it's trying to solve, and it's a problem. And you'll say, oh no, it's a such a. I don't care. Okay, because to me, the only things that stick around are those things that solve a problem. And if it doesn't solve some kind of problem, it's gone. Even the internet was invented without actually having a problem in mind. But boy, look at what's happened. And it's not going anywhere. Yeah. So what problem does it solve? Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's supposed to keep narcissism in check. That's what I reckon. That's your most dangerous threat in the world. It's actually a life-threatening threat to you, me, the whole planet. Yeah, because let me assure you, if they start a nuclear war, yeah, we're all in risk. And you have to ask yourself, why would anybody start a nuclear war? You'd have to be half insane, wouldn't you? Yeah, it's narcissism. They don't care. They're right, and they're indestructible. They only find out in the last few microseconds of their life that no, they were wrong. They're just people. But they've now killed everybody else. Yeah, so that was what I'd say somebody, clever person, decided we've got to think up some idea to stop this. I don't know, it probably didn't start that. I mean, it could well have started with, people's belief that there must be something greater than themselves. Which is, if you think about it, it's like that's, you can almost hear people saying that, well, we aren't the greatest. Good people would. I say, no, there's something above us. Yeah, but not the narcissist. Yeah, no, the narcissist. Because really, it's, why would you insist it? Why would you instill a system of religion on people? Okay, religion. Okay, God. If you just believe in God, well, that's your choice, isn't it? Really, it's up to you. Yeah, but so why have a system of? Can you see why have a system of religion? It's taught in schools and that sort of thing. If like, just tell people about God somewhere, anywhere, and let them find themselves. But there seems to be this instilling. Yes, I think the idea is to prevent narcissism. I don't know. Could be wrong. Anyway, I'm pretty busy at the moment. I better get going. I love that picture. It's great, isn't it? I wonder if it'll work. I hope so. Yeah, all right. Yeah, and shh on that other. Don't tell anybody. I'll get busted. Bye.